All right, hi, and welcome to another installment of Math Basics, Mr. Besh. Today we're going to use our prior knowledge and skill to navigate and plot points on the coordinate plane. We're going to begin with the coordinate plane. When you look at a coordinate plane, two things stand out first. Number one, coordinate plane is composed of two lines crossing, perpendicular lines as a matter of fact. When these two lines cross, they now get new names and they're called axes. The horizontal number line is referred to as the x-axis, where the y number line is referred to as the y-axis. The second thing that stands out is the fact that four regions are then formed. We refer to these as angles in our plane geometry unit, but now they are called quadrants. And I have them numbered for you here in Roman numerals. I also want you to notice that they're numbered going counterclockwise rather than going clockwise. Very important note. Look where quadrant number 1 is. A lot of people make the mistake and think it should be in place of quadrant number 2, and that is incorrect. Now, when you talk about the coordinate plane, they're composed of two axes and four quadrants. The two number lines form these axes. The horizontal number line is always the x-axis, and the vertical number line is always the y-axis. One of the things we do with the coordinate plane, one of the first things that we do is we plot points. When you plot points, you have an x value and a y value, and you want to find out where they match up on your graph and where they end up. In quadrant number 1, every single point will have a positive x and a positive y value. When we talk about quadrant number 2, the x value will be negative and the y value will be positive. In quadrant number 3, both x and y are always negative. And last but not least, in quadrant number 4, the x value will be positive, the y value will be negative. There's one point, it's very special, and it actually has its own name, and that is the origin. This is where my two number lines cross, and it is point 0, 0, meaning this is where x is 0, and this is where y is 0. Now, when we plot points, the correct terminology for this is plotting an ordered pair, or graphing an ordered pair. Every ordered pair has two numbers inside of a parenthesis separated by a comma. The first term is always the x value, and the second term is always the y value. What I'd like to do is show you two examples, and this would be the first. I want to plot 3, 4. To do this, the first thing I need to do is find the origin smack dab in the center. I have my little star here in its place, and then I need to trace paths. What I do first is take the first number in the parentheses, which is 3, and find that on the x number line. Trace the path from the origin, as I've done here. Now, this is just a tracing here. I do not mark anything as of yet. I only mark when I'm done. The next thing I do is the next number inside the set of parentheses tells me whether I go up or down. This is used on the y-axis. All right, so now I want to find out where y is 4, and then I trace that path. Now, I just want to pause here for a second. The first number always decides whether we go left or right on the number line. If the number is positive, we go to the right. If the number is negative, we go to the left. The second number tells us whether or not we go up or down. Because it was positive 4, that means that we would go up 4 rather than going down 4. And this is the place where we put our point, and now I have my ordered pair plotted on my coordinate plane. This was example number 1. Example number 2. -2, -5. I wanted to throw the negatives in here to show you what happens when we go the opposite direction. Again, we start in the same spot. We start in the origin, smack dab in the center. We look at the first value inside the set of parentheses, and this tells us whether we go right or left. Because it's a negative value, we go to the left. So we want to find the place on the x number line where x is -2, as I did. The next number there tells us whether we go up or down, and because it's a -5, that means we trace its path to where -5 is on my x-axis as done. Last but not least, all we simply do is put our point there, and that becomes my ordered pair on my coordinate plane. This is navigating a coordinate plane as well as plotting points. I hope you found this both helpful and informative.